Kevin Stefanski future is pretty much guaranteed, bro. He finna be up out of there. Joe Flacco wasted no time getting it in on his former head coach. Guys, bro, I see why Mike Tomlin said what he said before the game. Because if you guys haven't heard, the Cincinnati Bengals put the beats on the Pittsburgh Steelers, bro. Joe Flacco threw for over 200 yards, no picks. Man, Joe Flacco looked like he could win the MVP quarterback, bro. I ain't lying, bro. He looked like MVP caliber performance, dog. What Joe Flacco did, legendary. I ain't lying. Kevin Stefanski is in the hot seat, man. We got fans pulling up receipts. We got members of the media pretty much saying him and Andrew Berry need to kick.
Breaking news straight out of Cleveland. Joe Flacco, the NFL's comeback grandpa, just lost it on Kevin Stefanski and the Browns coaching staff. And not in some calm veteran way either. Word from inside the locker room is that Flacco's patience finally snapped, and now the whole building's buzzing. Did Cleveland really manage to break the most chill quarterback in modern football? Because if they did, that's a whole new level of dysfunction. Cleveland, man, the land of heartbreak, missed kicks, and quarterbacks who show up full of promise only to leave fans crying into their foam fingers. It's like this city is cursed by football gods who enjoy reruns of pain. Every time hope shows up, it gets tackled at the 1-yard line, then signs a 1-year deal just to suffer again. And now out of nowhere, Joe Flacco, yes, that Joe Flacco, strolls back into the chaos like some middle-aged Avenger ready to burn it all down. He didn't just criticize the team, he detonated the whole operation like it was his personal fireworks finale. One minute he's cracking jokes, the next he's setting off alarms in Berea. Think about it. The Browns shelled out nearly $500 million for a quarterback still buffering like bad Wi-Fi. And the guy they once shipped out for peanuts comes back and makes them look like amateurs running a fantasy team from a flip phone. Joe Flacco didn't just beat the Browns, he embarrassed them without even putting their jersey back on. What a twist. What a meltdown. Cleveland chaos has officially gone cinematic. Joe Flacco just reminded the entire league that experience, calmness, and an actual functioning brain still win football games. 3 things that apparently got deleted from Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry's team-building PowerPoint. You could almost picture them sitting there clicking through slides about analytics while Flacco was out, proving that common sense still matters. The man looked like an MVP teleported straight out of another era. Over 200 yards.
When did you realize that you could have this successful of an offensive game like this quickly?
You're not thinking about it in that sense. I mean, I think you're always like wanting to go do that, but I think what being here in this situation has done for me is it allows you to recalibrate and not worry about those things. It allows you to just focus on the basics. And it's a good reminder that doing that is what leads to success and consistency. So I think the bigger thing going forward is just continuing to remind myself of that.
Ice cold pocket control, laser precision, and that smooth confidence that screams, "Remember me? I was elite before your phone even had Wi-Fi." It was like watching an NFL time traveler schooling the new kids on how the game's really played. He's practically fossilized at this point, but somehow this man is out here farming defenses for XP like he's grinding a video game. Meanwhile in Cleveland, Stefanski's headset might as well have been playing elevator music on loop. The Browns' offense was spinning around like a confused Roomba, bumping into walls, recalculating, then bumping again. Every drive looked like a GPS stuck on rerouting. You could see it all over the fans' faces. Total disbelief. They weren't just watching Joe Flacco succeed. They were watching their own coaching staff get exposed in high definition. And the irony? It was delicious. Flacco didn't need to gloat or trash talk. He just stood there, calm as ever, giving off pure dad energy, like a man who warned everyone not to touch the thermostat, and now the whole house is in flames. When he later mentioned that even broken plays were turning into touchdowns, you could practically hear the Browns coaching staff panicking, probably typing how to make broken plays work into Google like it was a life or death search. You could almost feel the ghosts of Browns quarterbacks past clapping somewhere in disbelief. Johnny Manziel, Baker Mayfield, even that poor guy who started one random game and vanished like he entered witness protection. All probably watching this unfold thinking, That could have been me, if only they had a clue. The irony's unreal. Every ex-Browns quarterback just got spiritual closure from watching Joe Flacco do what they never got the chance to do. Make Cleveland look foolish without even trying. And now, just like clockwork, Kevin Stefanski's sitting right back in that hot seat again. It's practically a Cleveland holiday at this point. New year, new panic, same coach rocking that 1,000-yard stare that says,
"Do that, Andrew. How could you do it?" Why on earth did you feel the need to trade this guy to a division opponent for a 5th-round draft pick? Fireable offense. That is a fireable offense. I want to know how much longer the owner's going to watch this crap, because the fans have had it. We deserve better. You're worried more about your stadium than you are your football team. That's the perception, Jimmy.
maybe if I stay still long enough, they'll blame the water boy. The fan base isn't buying it anymore either. They're online pulling receipts, exposing every boneheaded call, every wasted drive, every game plan that looked like it was drawn with a broken crayon on the back of a napkin. Even fans are joking that kids playing Madden could coach better. And honestly, they've got a point. At least Madden players know when to call a timeout. Meanwhile, the Browns front office is getting roasted like it's amateur hour at a comedy club. Andrew Berry, the GM, has basically gone ghost mode.
Flacco just exposed Kevin Stefanski, showing us everything wrong with the Browns offense. And after hearing this, it's clear Shedeur Sanders need to be Flacco just exposed Kevin Stefanski and the Cleveland Browns offense. Joe Flacco threw for 342 yards and 3 touchdowns on 47 attempts and 31 completions. Cleveland, did you get rid of Joe too? Cleveland, did you get rid of old Joe too soon?
No statements, no interviews, just pure radio silence. Dude disappeared faster than a Browns playoff lead in the 4th quarter. Now the fans are staring around like, wait, did we seriously trade away the only quarterback who actually knows what he's doing? Because this isn't even about one game anymore. It's about what that one game exposed. The Bengals, led by the same veteran Cleveland tossed aside, just embarrassed the Browns on national TV, not just with stats, but with poise, class, and the kind of composure this franchise keeps forgetting how to buy. Joe Flacco's confidence was blinding. The man looked like he'd been running that offense for years, commanding every snap like a general who already knew the ending. Meanwhile, the Browns looked like they were stuck in a group project where nobody did the reading, and everyone's just waiting for the smart kid to show up and save them. It's pure comedy at this point. Cleveland trades away Joe Flacco, watches him torch a division rival on live TV, and then tries to spin it as part of some long-term rebuild plan. Please, who's buying that? This quarterback room has had more turnover than a bakery. One week it's optimism, the next it's chaos. And while fans are tearing their hair out, Kevin Stefanski's out here explaining it all like a man desperately trying to justify a group text gone completely off the rails. Every press conference feels like a post-game TED Talk on how to waste talent in real time. But the wildest part, he's still out there saying, the system works. That's the Browns' eternal motto, trust the process. The only problem? The process keeps trusting the wrong people, and every season it's the same sad rerun.
I don't know the best way to explain it, but it seems like every quarterback that leaves Cleveland, if they was in that horrible organization, then they left them, they on a different path to where they about to become a superstar again. In this case,
heartbreak, memes, and press conferences that sound like carefully rehearsed apologies wrapped in fake optimism. The fans are exhausted, man. They've seen this movie on repeat for 2 decades, and it never changes. Same pain, same excuses, same ending. At this point, the Cleveland faithful deserve more than just hope.
Teammates who've gone through that.
Oh, for sure. That was an awesome sideline, an awesome locker room after the game. But at the same time, you got to give those guys a lot of credit. Like, it's not easy to lose 4 straight games and keep your head into it. So the fact that they've been able to do this and get to the point where we got tonight and beat a good football team is also impressive.
Along those lines, Joe, it's one win, but given the fact that we came against that defense in this environment, you see the potential of what this team, especially offensively, is capable of.
Yeah, you sure hope so. You hope you can come in here and play well, and you always want to, like, especially when you get guys that are good at playing football, you want to go show them, like, hey man, like, we're gonna be.
They deserve a full refund for emotional damages. You can practically see the Browns fan base forming a support group right now. Hi, my name's Dave, and I believed in Kevin Stefanski. It's tragic and hilarious at the same time, because somehow, some way, Cleveland always finds a new way to self-destruct. And this time, the meltdown came courtesy of the one man they thought was finished, Joe Flacco. The dude they labeled washed just turned the Browns' entire rebuild plan into a blooper reel. Meanwhile, Flacco's out there vibing, running broken plays that magically turn into highlights, laughing with teammates like he's filming a comeback movie, and dropping dimes like it's 2012 again. He's out there clowning defenses while Cleveland's playbook looks like a bad group science project gone wrong. He's even joking about his coach's accent mid-practice, just pure, effortless swagger. While Flacco's making football look easy, the Browns are over there trying to reinvent the wheel. Except their version's square and made of paper mache, it's falling apart before it even hits the ground. Now the fans have had enough. They've turned their frustration toward ownership. Jimmy Haslam, the man who collects head coaches like baseball cards, is back in the hot seat. People are calling him out, saying he's more focused on building shiny stadiums than building a winning roster. They're calling the whole franchise a joke, and honestly, that's generous. Because right now, Cleveland doesn't look like a football team. It looks like a full-blown circus, and not even the fun kind.
These people to do this, you have the worst offense in the league. Your GM screwed this quarterback thing up like I've never seen in my life. I've never seen anything like it. Kids that play Madden could have done a better job. Truly, that's not hyperbole. It's a joke. It's a joke. This franchise has become a joke.
This one's got broken rides, sad clowns, and a popcorn machine that keeps catching fire every Sunday. Every analyst on TV is asking the same burning question. How? How does a franchise with this much talent keep tripping over its own shoelaces? And how does the guy they tossed away for nothing look more competent, calm, and connected than everyone left behind? Analysts didn't sugarcoat it. They kept the answers real simple. Bad leadership, that's it. Joe Flacco's command of the offense looked effortless, like he was orchestrating a symphony out there while everyone else was still tuning their instruments.
And they're looking like an MVP for the Bucks. And Joe Flacco ain't even left Cleveland for a full 2 weeks, and he already done threw for more yards and touchdowns than he did in Cleveland. Come on now, what's going on? I think Mike Tomlin was right. Maybe Andrew Berry's smarter than all of us. He don't know why the Browns traded Joe Flacco, a veteran, to a division rival that they gotta play again, and Mike Tomlin knew they gonna have to play Cincinnati against Joe Flacco. But Joe still didn't know the plays, and he beat a Steelers team that demolished the Cleveland with Dylan Gabriel.
You could see it in his eyes, calm, confident, and loving every second of proving people wrong. That kind of energy is contagious, man. His teammates were feeding off it, the sideline was buzzing, and across the field, the Browns looked stiff, disconnected, and absolutely miserable. You could practically hear the internal screaming coming from the Cleveland bench. Why can't we do that? The frustration was written all over their faces. The difference wasn't just skill, it was mentality. Flacco was out there owning the moment while the Browns were drowning in overthinking. And that's the ugly truth. Cleveland's been overcomplicating football for years. They keep chasing fancy schemes.
Makes those decisions. I trust AV. We talk about every decision we make. They wanted Joe. They made the phone call. Obviously, it gives Joe an opportunity to go play again. But I trust in obviously it's a young room, but I believe in those guys that they're all working very hard. Obviously, Bailey's the elder statesman right now, but Sean's in there, to provide great insight to the young guys. And, I trust in Coach Musgrave, Coach Reese. First, I'd tell you is the Joe trade took us by surprise. That was not something that we saw coming. They called us, and that's
Throwing around buzzwords like analytics and efficiency metrics while forgetting the game's soul. Football's not a math problem. It's about instincts, leadership, and execution. It's about trusting the guy under center to feel the game, not just follow a chart. Flacco reminded them of that in the most brutal way possible, by making it look easy. And after the game, instead of bragging, he got humble and real, talking about family, his kids, and the grind it took to get back here. Meanwhile, you just know Stefanski's somewhere in a boardroom right now, trying to explain to ownership why his elite offensive system keeps stalling out at 17 points a game. You could almost feel the universe laughing at this one. Cleveland acted like they were trading away an old lawn chair, something they'd never need again. And now the joke's completely flipped on them. The city's in flames, figuratively and emotionally. Local sports radio is in full-blown meltdown mode, hosts shouting, phones ringing nonstop, fans losing their voices. Jerseys are getting tossed, timelines are exploding, and social media looks like one massive group therapy session that's gone terribly wrong. The fury isn't just about losing, it's about being publicly exposed by their own mistake. That humiliation hits different. The Browns front office is silent now, which is hysterical, considering these are the same people who can't stop talking during draft week about their grand vision for the future. Where's that vision now? Probably hiding in a broom closet, praying the Wi-Fi goes out so they don't have to face another press conference.
Andrew Berry, how dare I just blame Kevin Stefanski? No, it's all there for you. Daryl, so what did you think watching last night's game?
Well, I think it's certainly an indictment of the state of affairs with the Browns right now, because we had all assumed that Joe Flacco was washed up and he couldn't do it anymore. And then he goes out and does that on national television, beats the Pittsburgh Steelers. And we certainly now understand why Mike Tomlin was furious that Andrew Berry basically gave Joe Flacco to the Cincinnati Bengals. But the Browns organization looks like a bunch of stooges this morning, which
Andrew Berry, the so-called architect of this master plan, suddenly looks like he's been building this roster with the blueprints upside down. And here's the reality check. If he's not careful, his seat's going to be just as hot as Stefanski's, because fans aren't dumb, they know how this works. The GM buys the groceries, and if the meal tastes awful, you don't just blame the chef. You look at who stocked the fridge. Now that's the narrative. If one goes, both go. A full 2-for-1 clearance sale in the coaching department. Cleveland somehow turned one quarterback trade into a full-blown organizational crisis. It's chaos wrapped in irony, pure poetic justice. The franchise famous for quarterback drama just got humbled by the one guy they wrote off like a spare part. They didn't even flinch losing him. Like the football gods don't have a dark sense of humor. No gimmicks, no analytics overload, just pure, simple football. Flacco even joked after the game that half the plays were miscommunications. And somehow, those were the ones that worked. You can't make this up. While Cleveland's out here running full practices, perfecting their process, and installing 200-page playbooks, Joe Flacco's freelancing like it's backyard football and still winning. It's the kind of thing that makes coaches lose sleep and fans question reality. And trust me, the locker room feels it.
Berry trade Joe Flacco to force Kevin Stefanski to move Shedeur up the depth chart. Now, obviously, turning a 6th-round pick into a 5th-round pick was the result of that deal, and that's cool. That's great. That's a good outcome. But was there also another benefit of the trade from Andrew Berry's perspective? So that strategy, that tactic, if the coach of the team, and this was the Oakland Athletics at the time, the baseball team, but this happened before. If the coach of the team is unwilling to play a player that you, meaning you, Paul DePodesta, or the GM, the front office, whatever.
Players aren't dumb. They know when something's off. They know when preparation's fake and leadership's cracked. You can feel when the energy's wrong. And right now, the Browns locker room feels like a ticking time bomb. Once trust in the coaching staff starts to fade, the whole operation collapses. Veterans stop believing, rookies start freelancing, and before long, the entire team's just winging it while the head coach stands there clutching his clipboard like it's a participation trophy. That's the kind of dysfunction that lingers. This wasn't just another ugly loss. This was a scar, the kind that leaves a mark deep in the culture. And now, we're already hearing the same tired buzzwords. Execution, focus, taking it one game at a time.
Look like they're the dumbest. Kevin Stefanski is going to have to answer for why that happened last night, and we're stuck watching a team that can't score more than 17 points in a game with him calling plays on the sideline, putting game plans together. Andrew Berry needs to get his butt front and center and start answering some questions. I've never heard of a GM being completely inaccessible after trading a week one starting quarterback and also
The same robotic cliches on repeat while fans sit at home watching the hope drain out of another wasted season. Meanwhile, Joe Flacco's out there doing what he's always done best, proving people wrong without even trying, calm, grounded, and clearly having the time of his life while everyone else loses their minds. He's smiling, playing free, and reminding the league that sometimes the best revenge isn't shouting or gloating. It's walking away and winning with grace. Because in the end, this story isn't just about one quarterback lighting up his former team. It's about how one man's piece exposed another franchise's chaos. And that's the real punchline. Joe Flacco didn't just beat the Browns, he exposed their entire philosophy. Every fancy chart, every buzzword-filled press conference, every speech about trusting the process just crumbled in one Sunday afternoon. It wasn't just a loss, it was a wake-up call wrapped in humiliation. Because while Cleveland keeps talking about building a dynasty, Flacco showed that leadership still matters more than PowerPoints. You could see it in the reactions. Players staring into space, fans pacing in the stands, commentators trying not to laugh on live TV. This wasn't just bad football, it was spiritual punishment. The football god said, "You want analytics? Cool."
That you want the coach to play, then you simply trade away whoever he is playing, and you leave the coach with no choice but to play the player that you want. They did this in Oakland. Case in point in this situation with the Browns, Joe Flacco and Shedeur Sanders. So Dillon Gabriel had already been named the starter, obviously ahead of the Minnesota game in London last week. And if we go back, we remember that there have been reports that Dillon Gabriel in the draft was Kevin Stefanski's pick. He was a Kevin Stefanski. That was Kevin's guy.
Watch a 39-year-old make your algorithm cry. Every throw Flacco made felt like a reminder that heart still beats numbers and instinct still beats overthinking. And what's wild is how effortless it all looked. He wasn't hyping himself up or trying to prove some dramatic point. He just played football the way it's supposed to be played. Calm, smart, ruthless. The kind of composure that makes defenses crumble and front offices sweat. Cleveland didn't just lose a game, they lost their illusion of control. Now the questions are flying fast. Is Kevin Stefanski really the right guy for this team? Does Andrew Berry actually have a plan? Or are they just guessing behind spreadsheets, hoping no one notices the smoke? Because right now, the fans notice everything. They see the lack of identity, the wasted potential, and the same mistakes dressed up in new slogans. Meanwhile, Flacco's name is trending again, not because of nostalgia, but because of results. He's become the living reminder that experience, leadership, and simplicity can still win in a league obsessed with flash. And that's got to sting for Cleveland, the city that keeps searching for saviors while throwing away the ones they already had. This isn't just another loss in the standings, it's a mirror. And when the Browns look into it, they won't see bad luck. They'll see themselves. And the truth that no rebuild, no excuse, and no PR spin can hide forever. It's about karma. The football gods finally handing out receipts, rewarding resilience and punishing arrogance.
To be honest, it was shocking to me. Andrew Berry must be a lot smarter than me or us, because it doesn't make sense to me to trade a quarterback that you think enough of to make your opening day starter to a division opponent that's hurting in that area. But that's just my personal.
Cleveland thought they'd moved on from Joe Flacco, like he was just another name in their endless quarterback graveyard. But surprise, Joe Flacco wasn't done with them. Not even close. He came back like a ghost of gridiron past, dropped a masterclass in pure execution, and left the entire organization spiraling into an identity crisis. The silence in Berea isn't strategy, it's shame. That's the thing about football. The most devastating hits don't always happen on the field. Sometimes they land in the boardroom, where the people in charge finally realize the guy they tossed aside just made them look like amateurs on national TV. The kind of embarrassment that lingers for seasons, not weeks. So here's the lesson, plain and simple. Maybe next time Cleveland should think twice before giving away competence at a discount, because Joe Flacco didn't just beat them, he exposed them. He walked away with a win, a smirk, and the sweet satisfaction of knowing he turned every doubter back into a believer without even breaking a sweat. And somewhere out there, under those flickering Cleveland lights, you can almost hear the fans chanting that same tired phrase they've repeated for decades. Maybe next year. But let's be real. Not if they keep making Joe Flacco look like the ghost of football past, haunting them with every throw. Like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you on the next one, because in Cleveland, the drama never ends.